Welcome back to Marta's Planning Mess. I just wanted to do a short synopsis on my 2025 planner stack and kind of the evolution of how I got to that. I started in July last year with a Hobonichi Cousin Avec, and I just absolutely loved and adored it, but because I like to put everything in there, it just got too big and too heavy. So even though I had ordered one for 2024, it is not going to be part of my planning. It's going to actually be used as a memory keeper. And I'm excited about that one getting chunky and full of all the things I like to print off. So I decided I wanted something smaller. And so I originally started off with this. This is a Planner Tasks B6 Chapter 25, the Yearly Notebook. And it's a full year edition. I thought because it was smaller in size, as you can see the difference between the A5 and the B6, that would make it more portable. And in theory it does, but because it is so thick, it is still quite large and chunky. And so I had it, I worked on some layouts that didn't quite make it work for me. I decided that it was probably not going to be the best thing for me to carry with me everywhere, and I was going to want something different for that. But what I do love is being able to have these big pages for journaling. So that is what I use this for the most. That's the main content here is my journal. And I do have a media log. And I do keep track of my finances in here. That's the other big thing that I need this book for. I do love how this feels in my hand, and I am really going to love having this as just a life book. It will be just as important to me as the memory keeping in the Hobonichi Cousin, but this is obviously not something I would probably share with other people as it's a journal. So sadly, it's still just a little bit too big for daily carry. And I came to that conclusion with my Hobonichi Weeks. I had bought this with the Hobonichi Cousin back at the beginning of September when they launched, and I got this just because I was curious, wanted to try it out, and it's a horizontal layout, which works really well for me to track my meals and my macros. And so I had ordered it. When it came, I was like, oh my word, that's so small and so thin. This is ridiculous. I'm never going to use this. And I kind of was a little, I didn't feel great about it, but I was like, well, I'm going to do it. I bought it. So I kind of ignored it until it was, November. I knew it started like the very end of November, first week of December. Got it out, started using it. I have these lovely Post-it notes. They're a little wider than this book, a little longer, but it's a grocery Post-it, and it's for, it divides it up by produce and grains and whatever, cold dairy, meats, etc. And so I found it's in 2 columns. I can cut it in half, and I can stick one here and one here, and so I can have my grocery list in here after I've made my meals. So I can do the meals, put the grocery list in the next weeks, and then I just have to take this to the store. And this is so small and it's so light. And when I took it to the store that first time, I was like, I wish that wasn't going to use this for meals. I wish I was going to use this for my everyday carry, but I knew I couldn't do that with a horizontal. And I don't know what caused me to research and find this lovely sterling ink, but it is basically the same size and it is a vertical. And so I just kind of pivoted in my process of what I was going to use and decided to go with this one for, look at that, vertical weekly in a teeny tiny journal. I mean, this is the compact. They do have one that's full year, so you have a page every day. I didn't want to journal in this. I wanted to use the back pages for to-do lists. So that what I wanted in a daily carry, I needed a monthly view, I needed a vertical weekly view, and I needed a place for to-do lists. And so this provides all of that for me. So the beginning, you've got your months. You even have some places to track things, which I will also track health things in here so I can take it to the doctor's office. Have your months, and then it goes right into your weeks. And they go until you get to the end of that, and then you have these blank pages. And so I've been using these for my to-do lists, and I'm still on a journey getting that sorted as to the best way to do it, but this is where I'm at in the process, and I'm really, really enjoying it, and I just love the size of this. So that is kind of how I made decisions for this year. am I thinking about changing? Not at this point. What I have works for where I'm at now. I know me, I could change. I have I'm kind of toying a little bit with at some point, maybe next year, or maybe when I get bored, getting a traveler's notebook size. So the traveler's notebook is just a little bit, I think it's like 6 squares wider and maybe 6 or 8 taller. So it's kind of the same proportions as this, but it's a little bit bigger. I've kind of toyed with maybe trying that for a bigger size, maybe instead of something like this for next year. It intrigues me. I don't feel like I need anything else right now. I'm not in a how do I plan this? I need a different book for that. I'm not in any stress like that. But I am open to trying other things. But I'm very happy with how this is working for health tracking. I do have a separate video on that. If you'd like to see more in depth on everything I'm doing in this, there's a separate video for that. There's a separate video to go in depth inside of the Sterling Ink vertical, and that is also on my channel. And then I also have a separate video going through the details of this. So if you want to see inside of these books any closer, you may. But this is my planning stack and journaling stack. So I'm really happy going into this year. Do I wish it was all in one book? There is a part of me that does, but remember, I had planned to use this as one book, and I think the only way that I can accomplish it in one book is to have something that's heavier than I want to carry with me daily. And I just don't see any way around doing that. I don't think going up to a traveler's notebook size would necessarily fix that for me. I could get this in a full year. I could get this in a mega, and that would give me extra pages I could do journaling in. But then it would make these bigger. And what I love about them is that they're small. So at this point, I think I'm just going to have to be satisfied with it being 3 separate things and just enjoy the fact that they are. And you know what? This week I took all 3 of them with me to appointments because I had some downtime in between. I'm like, that's the perfect time to catch up on journaling. That's the perfect time to fill out my financial information. So I do take this one out. But I don't have to bring it with me. I don't feel like I'm lost if I don't bring it with me. And if I don't have my monthly and my weekly and my to-do list, I feel lost. And so having this is like my anchor, my foundation. If I have this with me, I can figure out whatever I need to do because this is the hub and source of all information. And I'm just so tickled that it can fit into something so small. So if you're toying with the idea of getting something small, if you love the Hobonichi Weeks but are annoyed by the fact that it's a horizontal, give Sterling Ink Vertical a chance. It is kind of a unicorn, and I haven't found anybody else that makes one in that size, so I am really enjoying it at this point in time. I'm so glad you came along to watch this video with me, and check out my other videos if you have any interest. Thank you.